starts now.
Hello, I'm Len Cannon, and thanks for joining us for a special digital edition of KHOU 11 News at 10. We are coming to you online while March Madness games are on the air. And tonight, we have a tragic update to a mass shooting at a grocery store this afternoon in Boulder, Colorado. We now know 10 people are dead, including a Boulder police officer. Witnesses saying the gunman was silent as he walked into that store and opened fire. The suspect is in custody tonight and being treated for injuries. The officer killed was the first on scene, now being called a hero tonight by the police chief. Those inside the grocery store say they ran when they heard the shots.
Somebody had their hand on my back, I had my hand on somebody's back, and we were just saying, go, 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 run. When we got to the back of the store, there were employees who still didn't know what was going on, and we just told them to run, you know.
So before we heard another, just like bang, 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 and I immediately sprinted over to her and was like, hey, we gotta get out of here, and like pushed open the emergency door, and I like told her to run. And
so tragic. This is a look at the procession tonight as first responders transported the body of the fallen Boulder police officer. The big question, of course, after mass shootings is why? We have no answers tonight, but we will continue to bring you new developments as soon as they come in. Also tonight, a shocking new development, a suspected drunk driving crash that killed a mother and 3 of her children earlier this month. The Harris County Precinct 4 Constable's Office says the suspect, Daniel Canada, was going 115 miles an hour just before crashing into Portia Branch's car along FM 2920 and Gosling Road in Spring. Investigators say they got the information from the black box data on his car. Canada is being held in the Harris County Jail on 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter. Turning to weather tonight, it could get stormy overnight. David Paul tracking the chance for thunderstorms. We're seeing a lot of red to the north and west on the radar. David, where are these storms now? Where are they headed?
Central Texas. Austin's about to get a thin line of thunderstorms come across Austin and the I-35 corridor. And the Little Peach area here is a severe thunderstorm watch. It's in effect until midnight. Houston, we're not under any type of severe weather watch. And models continue to indicate that as that gets closer overnight, it's going to weaken. And right now, we just don't have anything except a little bit of mist and drizzle spring to Cleveland up toward Lake Livingston. Here's the way Future Track sees it. By midnight tonight, showers beginning to approach our western counties. There may be a couple of thunderstorms overnight. By 2 a.m., things are weakening, and a little bit of thunder over toward Pasadena and Dayton and then to Beaumont. And then by the time we get to 7 o'clock in the morning, most of the rain is gone. Maybe a slight chance for a shower, Liberty County, Chambers County. And that pretty much wraps up how we're going to do Tuesday. We'll have a little bit of rain in the morning, and then we clear out and go to a high of 85. There is more rain, maybe some thunder on the way later in the week. We'll go over that in just a little bit, Len.
All right, we'll see you then. And you can track the weather in your neighborhood 24/7 with our KHOU 11 app. We have live radars that show you where the rain is now and where it's going next. Piling up against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. 6 more filed today, bringing the total to 13 so far by women who accuse Watson of sexual harassment and assault during private massage sessions. Matt Doherty is taking a closer look at those lawsuits tonight. Matt, the allegations are disturbing.
We've been going over the court documents tonight, and all of the allegations pretty much follow a similar pattern. The women say they showed up thinking everything was going to be professional, but when Watson got there, they say things quickly became sexual. This story is graphic. In court documents filed last week and today, 13 different women say Deshaun Watson became sexually inappropriate during massage therapy sessions. Some of the women say they were propositioned, others say they were forced to perform oral sex. Here's a look at a timeline of the allegations. The earliest incident among the cases filed so far allegedly happened 1 year ago, last March. The most recent incident allegedly happened earlier this month. The allegations detail a variety of inappropriate behavior that reportedly transpired during the massage sessions with Watson. In 8 of the alleged incidents, the women say Watson intentionally touched them with his penis. During 6 of the sessions, the accusers say Watson ejaculated. In 2 of them, they claim Watson masturbated. And in 2 other cases, women say Watson forced them to perform oral sex. According to the lawsuits, Watson found and contacted most of the women after finding them on social media. 10 of the women say Watson reached out to them directly through Instagram. All but one of the incidents allegedly happened in Houston, and the women say they occurred at a variety of locations. 4 at local spas, 3 at Houston hotels, 2 inside private homes, and 2 others at offices. Several of the alleged encounters were cut short, either by the women or by Watson himself, when the women say they refused his advances. Last week, Watson denied all of the claims that had surfaced up until that point. Now remember, these are civil lawsuits. Deshaun Watson has not been charged with a crime. Back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you. We'll bring you any new developments on this story on air and online. And you can read more about the individual lawsuits on KHOU.com. Shopping around for second shots. Tonight, we're hearing from a whole lot of you about traveling out of town for your first COVID vaccine shot, then getting your second shot closer to home. Our Grace White shows us how it's being done.
Hitting the road for vaccines is nothing new.
What we're trying to do is make sure that we get as many shots in the arms as possible.
We've reported on people finding spots in smaller counties and making the drive to places like Beaumont, Victoria, and Corpus Christi. But what happens when you don't feel like making the drive back? Places like CVS are now advertising second shots closer to home.
It just kept showing no availability.
Ron Nichols kept trying and today received his second shot from a CVS in Houston. But his first shot was in Louisiana. He made the drive down from his home state in Michigan.
They didn't even ask me for ID. I was really surprised at that. Now, today in Houston, this time they checked my ID on 2 different occasions.
We asked the state how it's keeping track of all the shot swapping. A spokesperson tells KHOU vaccine providers are allowed to give second doses to people who are not vaccinated with their first dose by that provider. DSHS has been encouraging providers to do so. They went on to say all providers have to report the doses they give out within 24 hours to the state's registry. The lesson from Nichols' road trip to get the vaccine: don't be afraid to think outside the box.
I had some events coming up where I was going to have to deal with some things in person, and I'm very much interested in not only protecting myself, but protecting everybody else that I'm around.
We've heard from some state hub providers who say this shot swapping is creating double bookings and a lot of no-shows, meaning providers are forced to overbook the day's appointments and have their wait lists ready so vaccines don't end up in the trash. Len?
Really quite a process. Thank you, Grace. We're doing our best to help you get vaccinated. Just text the word vaccine to 713-526-1111. We'll then text you back with a list of phone numbers you can call to check availability in your area. The U.S. may be on the verge of having a 4th vaccine to fight the spread of COVID-19. That's after the latest trials of the AstraZeneca vaccine in the U.S. show promising results. Let's walk you through the very latest. The study found the vaccine is 79% effective at preventing serious COVID symptoms. That's compared to Johnson & Johnson's 66% and 94 to 95% for Moderna and Pfizer. However, just like Moderna and Pfizer, AstraZeneca does require 2 shots, while Johnson & Johnson, you only need 1. AstraZeneca also costs less than the other vaccines, and the makers are expected to ask for emergency use authorization in the U.S. early next month. There were some concerns about this vaccine over fears it caused blood clots in some people in Europe, but that was not a problem in the U.S. trials. Several countries that stopped using AstraZeneca last week are now using it again. Spring break is over, and now Houston area schools are hoping there won't be a COVID spike as students return to campus. We have seen this happen before after other school vacations this year, like after the Christmas break. But many district leaders believe increased access to vaccinations should help keep cases low this time. But they still spent last week getting the message out that COVID-related protocols remain a necessity.
Everything that's part of our safety system here, we try to revisit as often as possible. And so those processes will remain in place throughout the remainder of this school year.
The CDC recently adjusted some recommendations, including desk spacing, but school districts in the state of Texas have had leeway on that issue all year long. Only 1 or 2 districts have scrapped face covering requirements. There's more information on protocols still in place on KHOU.com. Well, if you haven't gotten your stimulus payment yet, be on the lookout this week. The IRS says the second wave of payments will be bigger than the first. They say direct deposits should hit bank accounts this Wednesday. And even if you received your payments by direct deposit last time, keep an eye out on your mailbox because some people say they're getting paper checks this time around. More payments will be going out weekly from this point on. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris referred to the situation along the southern border as challenging and vowed to meet the moment with the arrival of thousands of unaccompanied minors. Photos taken inside one of the Texas facilities for children topping your 90-second nightcap.
New pictures shared by Democratic Congressman Henry KHOU show cramped conditions inside a Donna, Texas temporary overflow facility as the number of unaccompanied minors housed by HHS totals more than 11,000.
The situation at the border has led to finger pointing. Republican lawmakers are blaming the Biden administration, while Democrats are criticizing the policies of the previous Trump administration.
The trial for Derek Chauvin set to start in 1 week. The former Minneapolis police officer is facing 3 charges in the death of George Floyd. One more jury member was seated today, bringing the total to 14. Also, the judge is not changing his mind on denying the request to change the trial venue. Chauvin's attorney asked for the change and a delay after Floyd's family got a settlement from the city.
Riot police fought back demonstrators in the English city of Bristol. Police vans went up in flames as rioters vented their fury against new legislation, giving officers more authority to tackle nonviolent demonstrations.
Tax season is in full swing, and this year some filers are able to total up coronavirus-related deductions. The IRS says personal protective equipment such as face masks, disinfectant, disposable gloves, and sanitizer could be added to the list of deductions for teachers. Tape, paint, or chalk that may have been used to outline social distancing is also on the list.
Thank you for joining us for this digital edition of KHOU 11 News at 10. We'll be back with a full newscast on television after the basketball game. We hope you'll stick around and we'll see you then.